Hello everyone. So here I am back with real numbers grade 10, and in this video we are going to discuss Euclid's division lemma, Euclid's algorithm and fundamental theorem of arithmetic. I hope you are liking my videos, so please do and watch and subscribe. Now here we are going to start with a puzzle, the Euclid division lemma, that a trader was moving along a road selling eggs. An idler who did not have much work to do started to get the trader into a wordy duel. This grew into a fight. He pulled the basket with eggs and dashed it on the floor. The eggs broke. The trader requested the panchayat to ask the idler to pay for the broken eggs. The panchayat asked the trader how many eggs were broken. He gave the following response. So just see what did he say. He said that if counted in pairs, 1 will remain. If counted in threes, 2 will remain. If counted in fours, 3 will remain. If counted in fives, 4 will remain. If counted in sixes, 5 will remain. If counted in 7, nothing will remain. My basket cannot accommodate more than 150 eggs. So he gave a kind of a mathematical answer. Now the puzzle is something where we have to read each and every statement carefully, right? And think about it. Now, how many eggs were there? That was the question basically, right? So we try to solve it mathematically. Let the number of eggs be A, right? Then starting from backward, A is less than or equal to 150 because he said it that my basket cannot accommodate more than 150 eggs. So number of eggs could not be more than 150, right? It is less but cannot be more than 150. Now we are moving backward. So see, if counted in 7, nothing will remain. So if A, the number of eggs, is divided by 7, nothing will remain, so remainder is 0. Then if number of eggs A counted in 6s, 5 will remain. Again, if number of eggs is counted in 5s, 4 will remain. Then if number of eggs counted in 4s, 3 will remain. 3 is the remainder. If number of eggs counted in 3s, 2 will remain. And if it is counted in pair, means counted in 2s, 1 will remain, right? So now this is kind of a division lemma, right? Now to find out the answer, what we have to do, we have to look for the multiple of 7 because we have the condition that if counted in 7, nothing will remain. It means the number is actually multiple of 7. Means when you divide it by 7, no remainder is there. So and it should satisfy all other conditions also. So by trial and error, if we start from 150 backward, we can get that the number we get which satisfy all the conditions is going to be 119, which is less than 150x. So the number of x this person has is 119. Now we are coming to the Euclid's division lemma. What is the statement? Given positive integers a and b, there exist unique integers q and r satisfying the condition a equal to bq plus r. Now here r has to be equal to or greater than 0 and it has to be less than or equal to b, right? Now we are taking one example. Let's say a is equal to 15 and b is equal to 2. So 15 is equal to 2 into 7 plus 1. Now here the quotient is 7 and remainder is 1. Now one more thing, that Euclid's division algorithm which we have been using was based on this lemma only. Okay, so you can see that this is the kind of a which you have been using earlier also in your earlier classes. Now we have to understand what is lemma. Here comes the question, what is the difference between lemma and algorithm? So a lemma is a proven statement used for proving another statement. Okay, lemma is already proved and we use it to prove another statement. And what is algorithm? An algorithm is a series of well-defined steps which gives a procedure for solving a type of a problem. So algorithm basically are the steps which gives you a procedure that how to solve a particular problem. Now we are going to use Euclid's division algorithm to obtain HCF of two positive integers, say C and D. Now here C is greater than D. So the following steps are being used when you are finding the HCF, right? So apply Euclid's division lemma to C and D. We find Q and R such that C is equal to DQ plus R, right? Here C is greater than D, remember that. Now if remainder is equal to 0, then D is the HCF. Else apply division lemma to D and R. So it is a series of steps basically. Continue the process till the remainder is 0. The divisor at the stage will be required HCF. We are going to understand it by using one example. We are going to apply Euclid's algorithm to find out the HCF of 4052 and 12576. According to Euclid's algorithm, since 12576 is greater than 4052, so 12576 is equal to 4052 into 3 plus remainder 420, which is not equal to 0. So we'll take the last divisor, which is 4052, equal to 420 into 9 plus 272. Here again the remainder is not 0. Then we are taking 420 equal to 272 into 1 plus 148. Again remainder is not equal to 0. Then the last divisor 272 equal to 148 into 1 plus 124. Divisor is again remainder is not 0. Then 148 is equal to 124 into 1 plus 24. Remainder is again not 0. Then 124 equal to 24 into 5 plus 4. Remainder is not 0. Then we take the last divisor, which is 24 equal to 4 into 6 plus 0. Remainder is 0 here. So we get to know the last divisor, which is 4, is the HCF of 4052 and 12576. Then some application of Euclid's division lemma or algorithm show that any positive odd integer is of the form 4q plus 1 or 4q plus 3, where q is some integer. So we will assume that a be any odd positive integer. By division algorithm for a and with b equal to 4, since remainder has to be greater than or equal to 0 and less than equal to 4, the possible remainders could only be 0, 1, 2 and 3. So here a could be 4q or 4q plus 2, 4q plus 1 or 4q plus 3. Now since a is odd, it can only be 4q plus 1 or 4q plus 3. Right? That is the case. Now we come to fundamental theorem of arithmetic. According to fundamental theorem of arithmetic, every composite number can be expressed as a product of primes, and this factorization is unique, apart from the order in which the prime factor occur. Now this theorem you have been using in your earlier classes also to find out the prime factorization. Now here is a factor tree of 32,760. You have been doing factor tree in your grade 6, grade 7, grade 8. So you know how to make a factor tree. So here you can see that factor tree of 32,760 is being made here. Right? So prime factorization of this number is actually 2 to the power 3 into 3 to the power 2 into 5 into 7 into 13. Here the prime factorization has to be unique, only the order could be different. Order could be different means it could be 3 square is coming in the first place and 2 cube is coming in the second place. Because it depends upon by what number you are dividing at the first place. Now some application of fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Consider the number 4 to the power n, where n is a natural number. We have to check whether there is any value of n for which 4 to the power n ends with the digit 0. Right? If the number 4 to the power n were to end with 0, then it would be divisible by 5. Right? Any number ending by 0 is divisible by 5. That test of divisibility you have done in earlier classes. It means prime factorization of 4 to the power n would contain 5, which is not possible. Because if you factorize 4, it has to be 2 into 2. So 4 to the power n could only be 2 to the power 2n. And according to the uniqueness of theorem, there cannot be any other prime other than 2 here. right? Hence, it is not possible. Now we are going to discuss some relationship between HCF and LCM. Find the LCM and HCF of 6 and 20, right? So 6 can be written as 2 into 3 and 20 can be written as 2 square into 5. So HCF of 6 and 20, which is product of smallest power of each common prime factor. So if you see the common prime factor 2 is here and the smallest power is 1 only. So HCF is 2. LCM is actually product of greatest power of each common factor. Now the greatest power of common factor 2 is 2 here, greatest power of 3 is 3 here, and 5 is 5 here. So LCM is 60. Now using this entire example, we can prove that HCF of any two numbers into LCM of any two numbers is actually product of two numbers. I hope you liked my video. Now I have just taken some quote that mathematics is not a language, it's an adventure. So just ride this wave of adventure with me and just keep on moving along with me. Now I would just say that if you like my video, please subscribe, do watch it and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.